Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a fresh episode of The Underdog Protagonist. My guest today is Dr. Alain Salas. He has been the #1 best-selling author on Amazon, chiropractic practitioner, and the creator of 3-step mind clearing process. With almost 3 decades of experience and have transformed 4,000 lives across US and Europe, Dr. Salas's story isn't just inspiring. If you're feeling stuck in health, relationship, or business, this episode is going to open something for you. So without any further ado, let's welcome Dr. Salas to the podcast. Hello, Dr. Salas. Welcome to the Underdog Protagonist. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. What about you?
I'm doing great as well. So before we begin this podcast, just for the context to our listeners, could you briefly say who you are, what you do, and what you're best known for?
Well, my name is Dr. Alain Salas, and I've got a tiny accent, right? So I was born and raised in south of France, right? And I used to live on a sailboat and a renting boat in south of France. And to make a long story short, I had a calling. I saw myself as helping people. So I'm a chiropractor. I went to the US. I'm currently in Kansas City, Missouri, right? And I practice. Although my formation is chiropractic, I'm more like a holistic doctor, right? And I've been doing that for 29 years now. I just, in September will be 29 years. And I created a different technique, different healing technique, like physical healing energy technique. But the one that we're going to talk about, it's called the mind clearing technique. And it's really a mind-blowing technique, in my book. I had a breakthrough actually 3 or 4 weeks ago after we had our first interview, right? And it has been really a game changer. So I'm super excited about sharing, how mind works and how can we heal, transform ourselves, and grow as a human being.
To pursue a holistic life is the goal for every human, right? But there's always something that keeps the person from achieving that goal, whether it's emotional, it's physical, it's professional or personal, right? And in our books, I think you might agree to that as well. It's all about that limiting belief, right? That is quietly running the show of our lives. So let's start from the basics. What is a limiting belief? Okay. And why are they so hard to detect for ourselves? And which in turn gets into the reason of making our life miserable.
Yeah. Okay. So what are limiting beliefs? Well, first of all, you have to understand that we are all have been programmed. You have been programmed. I've been programmed. Everybody listening to that program has been programmed. So how does it work? Well, more importantly, like when we are like from age 0 to 7, we are like sponges, right? So what we observe in the outside world, right, we think is the truth, right? And so we assume things, so if you assume things 1, 2, 3 times, it become a program. And that program go to a specific mind, because you've got 2 minds. You've got the conscious mind, what you're basically aware of, and you've got the subconscious mind that you don't really know what's going on. And so that's where those programs are stored. So mainly we're not aware. We can be aware of some of our programming because we see pattern, in our life, all the same self-sabotaging pattern. And we say, oh yeah, there's something. I don't know why, but I cannot help it. I have to attract the same kind of woman. I have to, all my friends just made it and I cannot make it, right? And so I've got some things that are holding me back. We all are aware of that, like. And so those are coming from those limiting belief, which is negative programming that we had, right? It's some kind of program that are not serving us any longer, right? And so what happened is those programs come from our past, right? And so it can be some trauma that we experienced as a kid, but also it can be an adult. I want to make sure that people understand you can be programmed at any time of your life, right? I mean, I guarantee you that. Like in case of PTSD, especially with the military, right? If they've got a big trauma there, they will bring that home, literally, because they have been traumatized and it's in their past. So it's kind of like you said, right? Our past are making up our present and molding our future. So this program running behind the scene all the time as a loop, right? They are really creating our present, right? And so why is it so difficult to get rid of? Because, we need to have access to the subconscious mind, right? And so if you stay limited in the conscious mind, like let's see, I've got a trauma, so they told me, oh, you need to see a therapist, right? So I'm going to see a therapist, right? And that therapist is going to talk about the trauma. We may even have some aha moment, if he or she is good, but that's where it stays in the conscious mind. We're not going to reprogram the subconscious mind. You can use hypnotherapy, that will do it, or you can use mind clearing for that, right? That is so specific and so easy to do, right? And so the problem, that's why they are so hard, because we focus of getting rid of a problem that out of the subconscious mind, we want to use only our conscious mind to do so. It means that we are using only 5 or 10% of our mind power. What do I mean by that? Your conscious mind, who you think you are, what you are aware of, how you perceive your reality, right? So what you're aware of, your thought, your emotion, your belief, and your action, right? So all what you're aware of, it's only 5 or 10% of your mind. And the subconscious mind, which is so mysterious, it's very hidden. You say, what the heck is going on? It's very mysterious, right? It's secretive. And so that subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of your mind, depends who you're reading. And you can Google that, and you will get the same result and knowledge that I got, right? And so we expect, using only 5 or 10% of our mind power, to even, first of all, we cannot have access to those 90 to 95% our mind power, but it's there. We just need a way to connect to that subconscious mind, right? And so you're going to see a therapist. Not only we're going to talk about that, we can make it worse, right? Because you're not going to repolarize yourself. You're going to think, it's going to be a reminder that, man, it's still there and he cannot heal no matter what I do, right? So that can make actually your situation worse. But if it doesn't, you don't have access with such a therapy, you don't have access to that programming that is the real cause of a problem. Why? Why is it so important, the cause of a problem? Because if you've got a problem in life, sir, it can be any problem. You need to know 2 things in order to have no more problem. It means you moved on. You don't even think about your problem anymore, right? So what are those 2 things? You need to know what's causing your problem, and you need to know how to fix it. When if you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you fix it? There's no way it's going to happen, right? And so, you still need to know, to have the right technique, the right way to fix it, right? So when you've got those 2 things, there's no more problem. We're done. We are healed. We can transform ourselves, and we can definitely grow from that.
The things that we have been learning from our childhood, maybe from parents, from teachers, from society, are in a way changing our perspective, because they are shaping our true self. They are running our reality, our sense of reality. And we start to believe that maybe this is my life's script, because based on the things I have learned throughout my childhood, from the people I have been interacting, from my parents, they have made me believe that this is how things work. So I don't know if it's limiting or not, but this is the right belief I should be chasing throughout my life. And we do not recognize that this is affecting us consciously or subconsciously, but we just keep on doing the same mistake over and over without even knowing that it's causing harm to us. We have been fed a narrative since childhood that this is the reality, this is how life works, this is how world works, and you have to work your way around this whole, ideology. And that is where I believe this limiting belief starts to take shape and forms the life script. But my question is, how do we begin to recognize this shift, this life script is taking the place, and our limiting belief is kind of taking over subconsciously, and try to stop that from the roots?
in a way, you know, those limiting beliefs, like you said, they are coming from other people, right? They can be family members, they can be for people we don't like or we like, or it can be some circumstances that have been traumatized, right? Let's see if as a kid I get burned, you know, maybe I'm going to have probably a limiting belief and maybe that can transform on fear. So that's why I'm saying whatever the things that you don't like, right, or the things that you are fearful, if you do have panic attack, if you do have all the things that are negative that you don't like in your life, right, in your personality, in all that, more than likely they are coming from limiting beliefs. The good news with the technique that I'm using, we don't need to identify them, right? What we want to do is just want to delete those limiting beliefs that are stored in your subconscious mind, right? So we delete what you don't want, basically, self-sabotaging pattern, emotion you don't like, thoughts that you don't like, right? And or behavior you don't like for yourself. And after, we can download instead what we call empowering belief, which is basically what you want instead, right? And after number 3, you want to make sure that you're going to manifest and create that into your life. So it's a very simple process. It's kind of in a way, when you've got some problem with your computer, and I'm sure you do have a problem with your computer sometimes, and you've got a program that is not working for you, right? So what you're going to do, you're going to click on delete, right? Put that in the trash, and after, you're going to go to get another program in the Play Store, right? You're going to get that, and you're going to download that program that is serving you better, right? That is good. And what you're going to see in your screen of life, right, in the screen, you're going to say, oh, yes, that's what I want. That's the result, the outcome that I want. I'm going to be smiling and use that new program, which is going to change probably the way you work, and you're going to become much more efficient, right? That's basically what this is about.
Just wanted to give context to our listeners that this is not the first time Dr. Salas and me are talking. It's the second time. Because the first time we spoke and we finished the session, the whole file was gone. Why? Because the laptop crashed, hard drive had the backup, but that also crashed. And while I was trying to make a copy out of it, because at the moment hard drive went poof, I have lost both the backups. So here we are doing the session all over again because we feel like the things that have been in the news needs to be thrown some light. And surprisingly, when we started recording, we lost electricity. Now it's back, thankfully. But we lost electricity. So there's a lot of challenges that has been happening just for this session. And I truly hope that the things that have been shared in this episode, the things that Dr. Salas is sharing, the things that is clicking with me, and what I'm, replying back to Dr. Salas is clicking with you as well. So yeah, we are back on electricity. We might have to take 1 more minute to again arrange the light. There's a lot of back and forth.
We're back, guys.
Okay, I have read your bio. I have seen the achievements that you have made. I have listened to the podcast that you have been, and I have seen the books that you have written, right? But you have transformed 4,000 lives, roughly, if I'm not wrong, maybe even more than that. But you have had your share of burnout, your collapse, and everything kind of broke apart, fell apart. The life that you had is what many would call a dream life. Sailing, business ownership, a thriving practice in the US, and then everything changed. Could you walk us through that collapse? Like, what was going right and how did everything go wrong?
Yeah, what I want to say before that, it's like there's something very important we need to touch on, and why my life was, in a way, very good, right? Because I knew my purpose. You see, when you know your purpose in life, what is your purpose, right? Sometimes people are confused with legacy and purpose. So legacy is what people will remember from you, or what you want people to remember from what you have been doing on Earth, right? Your purpose is why you're doing things that you do, right? What is it? So it comes from your heart, right? It has to be coming from your heart. So your purpose cannot be, oh, I want to be a millionaire, right? A millionaire is a goal, right? And it's different. The purpose is why you want to do a millionaire, right? And so usually we dig more and we find out that, you know, because maybe you want to create a foundation and helping so many people or whatever it is, right? So that's, you need, so what is very important for our listener, you need to find out what is your purpose. There's different techniques to do that. The best one are the one that you are going somewhere else, like in a way, like you close your eyes, and there's different techniques that you can use that will shut down the ego, right? Your conscious mind, and you are more out there, and you can get the information that you need, right, to create your purpose. So I really want to say that because I think it's very important. And you know, like everything in life, life or everything on Earth is a vibration. So vibration is a wave, right? So we've got ups and downs, right? That's, you know, the Walt Disney things, oh, they marry and will be happy ever after. It's not possible. There's always ups and downs. You cannot be happy all the time. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a party pooper, but that's reality, right? That's the way it is in life. And so what makes the difference is how you deal with the ups and downs, right? The ups can be overwhelming. Somebody won at the lottery and they had a heart attack, right? Because it was too much positive stress on themselves, right? And so that's what you want. You want to still being serene, at peace, with an open heart, right? And that's very important, right? So I wanted to say that. So what happened to me? Well, you know, like I just mentioned, you're going to experience, like I did, some challenges. Some people experience challenging that we judge, you know, more or less. So it doesn't matter. That's your own challenges. They are as important, right? It's how you deal with it. It's still very important. And so what happened to me, like you say, I went to the US and I was like, even though chiropractic was my base, right? I created like I was seeing 250 patients a week, right? And I had 4 employees. But it was more dealing with inflammation in the body, right? What created that inflammation, stress, that chemical stress in the body, right? And so I was treating people who had like long-term pain and stress, you know, autoimmune disorder, things that the healthcare system don't know how to treat, right? Because again, they don't find out what's causing the problem, right? What are the root cause of a problem? And that's what I do. So I try to do my best, like to do that. And so everything was good. Like, you know, they call it the American dream, right? So I'm coming like from south of France with a backpack and a suitcase, and now I'm making it, you know, I'm making quite a bit of money, and I've got, you know, that big house, you know, in a big neighborhood. I found a French woman, you know, in a bar, and we got married, you know, later on. I've got a daughter named Maya, right? And she was 6 or 8 years old at that time. So everything was great, right? But here's the problem. I was totally unbalanced because in my mind, I was so focused in my head, all the time in my head, thinking about the business, you know, how to improve, you know, and I thought I was doing the right things because I was doing my mission of life, right? And I was helping so many people, right? But, you know, too much imbalance. And so what happened when after, you know, working during the day, I will come back home, and I was there, but I was not present for my family. And so, of course, within a year, you know, I ended up divorcing, and I had a daughter, right? So it's never simple things like we separate, right? And so that was very stressful for me, sir. And so what happened, I started to feel depressed, right? And I was already burned out. And so what happened, my practice went from thriving to failing. I ended up actually living in my office for 3 years, you know, by myself. And yeah, because I thought, I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a treatment room, you know, I installed a shower. I mean, it was very, very good, right? But I thought it was like for a few months, you know, and after I will find a house or whatever. But I ended up staying there 3 years. And during those 3 years, I've learned a lot. And what I've learned, oh, by the way, not only I divorced, my business went down, but I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So here I am telling my patient what not to do, what to do in order to prevent, cancer and all those cardiovascular disease, those killers. And I'm doing my own program, I'm getting sick. So I had to rethink about everything, obviously my relationship, my prosperity, my health, but also my job, because what I was doing obviously was not good enough for me, right? I mean, if I got sick, so that was like a big time reflection, and I had to change. But again, I had to find out what's causing it, and so my intuition started to kick in, because I'm pretty creative and intuitive, and I knew there was something deep within me. I didn't know what at that time, but I knew there was something deep within me that pushed me to sabotage my health, sabotage my relationship, and sabotage my prosperity. And so I went on a quest to find out what it was, because I was pretty good at treating, the physical stress. I mean, I was happy with that, right? Yeah. The chemical stress, I was happy, and I had some stuff, I started to supercharge my body with oxygen, and cancer cells, they hate oxygen. It's like a vampire looking at the sun. They don't like it, they will die right away. So I was able to heal myself, from the cancer, but I knew there was like something more than that, and that was my mental aspect, and the emotional aspect, right? And so that's how I started to create more like a mind-body connection, and just for my own healing, right? And just to find out, okay, what is there something in my mind that is sabotaging me? Is there something in my mind that creating negative pattern, right? Is there something in my mind that's controlling me, right? And the answer, like we talk about, is yes, definitely.
I mean, the story is certainly exciting. I mean, it's inspiring at the same time as well, to be diagnosed with such a thing, and hitting rock bottom, but still finding courage to bounce back. It all takes a lot of guts. And there must be something that clicked, or that pushed you, or maybe that kind of shown you a light that this is where you'll find tranquility, this is where you find peace, and maybe this is where you'll find all your answers you have been seeking for so many years. I think 3 years, was that it?
Yeah. And so basically what it was for me, it's like, I knew it was not about me. I saw the big picture, because I know through my healing, I will be able to translate that into my patient and help them. So I've never been on a victim mode. Oh, why me? Why this is happening to me? I could have blame, play the blame game and blame on my wife for my divorce, on my prosperity with, different circumstances that happened to me. But I never did that. I never say, why me? Well, there's two ways of seeing life. Right? Either you say, why me? And you think that you are the little me, and all the outside circumstances, are molding yourself, right? It's because it's not coming from me, right? It's coming from the outside. I'm the victim of circumstances. Or you can see yourself more as a creator. I understand that, you actually, you create your reality in a way, right? You create what you are. And so when you understand that, that's significant, right? When people start to understand that, that's really significant. And you know that your healing, your transformation, and your growth will come from within, but within your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind, right? And so that's where you need to definitely use technique in which you can have access to this program, and like we say, delete them, download a new program instead, and make sure that you can create the new you. You can create the new healthy and transform you.
Let's talk about that particular moment when you discovered, or you began developing the mind clearing system. What was going on in your life, and what hit you that made you discover this particular technique?
Well, I started to I know it's going to sound crazy what I'm saying, but I started to have some what I call my insight. Coming out of the blue, I will have an interaction with a patient always. It doesn't come, it comes to me when I treated somebody. And I will start to do things out of the blue. But I still went with it. I was open-minded in the way, right, doing that. And I got some feedback on my patient. That's how I created my energy technique, right? I started to do things out of the blue. I remember that lady said, "Oh, don't stop what you're doing. It's really good." I said, "Oh, okay." Right. And after I started to make it better and better, it happened the same with the mind clearing technique. So lots of people think that inspiration come, you've got a aha moment and that's it, you've got everything. For me, it doesn't happen that way. I've got different boots of inspiration. And what I had a breakthrough actually, like I shared with you like 3 weeks ago, that a huge breakthrough on that technique, or a month now ago. And the way it happened is like this, I say, oh, it would be nice if, right? And I let it be. And after a few months after, boom, it was right in my face. I almost have to copy and paste, right? I couldn't believe it. If it was somebody or one of my patients, I will have elbow that patient and say, you see, that's crazy, right? He's just telling me how to do it, right? You see what I mean? And so that's why, you just want, my advice to you when you want to use your creative power is basically you put something out of the universe and you let go. You don't think about it, right? You don't attach to it, and you say, oh, I will. Like I say, it will be nice too. And boom, it happened to me. I was like, so I couldn't believe it. Even which I always operated that way, because I always, like, if you will have heard me talking about intuition and things like that, what I will told you, and I'm still doing it at that now, but now I can explain it. Before I couldn't explain it, and I will say, oh, I believe I will always believe more my intuition than my analytical mind. Right, which sounds crazy for lots of people listening to that program, right? But okay, if you analyze that, right, now I can understand why I was saying that and feeling it intuitively, right? So what happened when your analytical mind, it's only 5 or 10% of your mind, and the intuition is coming from your subconscious mind. It's the wisdom of your subconscious mind, right? That's the kind of intuition that I'm talking about. And so, of course, you need to follow that. And so some people may be like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can trust my intuition. What I will say, try it and ask for confirmation, right? If you're not sure, say, like I say, it would be nice if I had a confirmation, and you let go and see what happened. And when you start to really trust more your intuition and listening to it and acting on it, oh man, that's a life-changing for you, right? But again, we have been taught we need to resolve our problem only in our head, right? And so what happened with that? We are too much in our head. I mean, if you look at the stats, what's happening, 80% of our thoughts are negative. 95% literally negative, right? 95% of our thoughts are the same as the day before, with just different input, but the same negative thinking again and again. We've got 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day. So there's no peace of mind here, right? It's like all chattered, and that's why people complain, right? It's a mess because we are too much in our head. So when we start to get rid of some limiting belief, now we can be less, we get more peace, right? The peace of mind comes from there, right? And so when you get rid of more and more limiting belief, you can be also more open-minded. When you're close-minded, if you got a problem or a challenge, right, you will find maybe one solution. And if there's more solution coming, you will reject that. Oh, no, it's not possible like this, right? So when you're open-minded, you've got more possibility for the same challenges, right? And after, you need to follow your heart in order to pick up which one's going to work.
Lovely. A few days back, I was having this discussion with another podcast guest of mine, and he had this theory where you can stop the monkey chatter. He calls this monkey chatter, that all this chatter inside your brain that is eating away from your living your true potential, and it's keeping you from thinking straight. It's making you feel anxious, is causing insomnia and so many mental health problems. So he also devised a mind clearing technique, which was mostly Ayurvedic based, and he had his own processes as well. But your process has also, helped thousands of people, and it has certainly helped you as well. And it's not wrong to say that this system has saved your life, right? So it's kind of natural for me to be curious as well, that what is the core of this mind clearing process and how is it different from affirmations or traditional, mindset work?
Yeah, well, I do meditation every day. So there's different ways that you can access, to your subconscious mind or your higher power, right? What makes the difference with mind clearing is so specific, right? Because you can say, oh, yeah, you want to go after your mind and have more peace of mind and more clarity, right? More clarity, focus, and certainty, right? But mind clearing is very specific. And I knew, to be honest with you, I knew that I was under something. It's when I was able to treat pain. There's nobody who's going to tell you about limiting belief that they treat pain. Nobody in my field. I guarantee you that. And the kind of result that I've got now, it's like, let's see if you've got a neck pain. So we'll do the mind clearing, right? Delete, download, and create, right? Or manifest. And after the first visit, everybody, I've never had anybody yet, knock, knock wood, but didn't have, the pain was gone. Everybody pain was gone, right? And after, of course, it can come back. So I will tell my patient, right? I will say, you know what? Write down the circumstances when the pain come back, and those are resistance of healing, right? So those, let's see, if I'm on the computer for like 2 hours, oh, my neck pain come back, or I get an argument to my wife, oh, the neck pain come back, and we'll treat that as a resistance. And the kind of result I've got, 70 to 80% of a patient that I treat, the pain will go away and never come back within 2 visits. A visit lasts around an hour, right? So that's how powerful it is. So those, because if you look at limiting belief, right, you're going to Google that, what they're going to tell you, it's self-esteem problem, basically, right? I'm not good enough, I'm not, which is a part of a program that I do. It's called the Goal and Success Clearing, right? So this, I'm saying, discover that those limiting beliefs are so much more than that. They affect your entire being. Do you think your mind can create pain? What do you think?
Think so, yes. Yeah.
Your mind can create pain in your body, I bet. I treat those people every day. Do you think that your mind can create symptoms in your body? Yes. Do you think that your mind can create inflammation in your body? And this is so true, because I can understand that people can be skeptic, right? What this guy is telling me, everything is in my head and all that. Well, I will say they know that. Forever, when they do research on a drugs, for example, they do a double-blind study, right? So it means nobody, now even the people who give you the pill, they don't know what pill it is, right? And so what happened, let's see if I go on a double-blind study and it's for heartburn, right? I like to take that example. And so what happened, I've got heartburn. So they told me, if you take that pill, we're going to see that more than likely you have no more heartburn. And I take the pill, and I say, man, that pill is wonderful, right? I have no more heartburn now on. Yeah. And they say, hold on, Dr. Salas. What you got, we look at our record, and what you've got is not the pill, it's the sugar pill. So what does it mean? It's called the placebo effect. It's on every study. They know that, they understand that, right? And so they brush it up and they say the placebo effect. So what does it mean? How healing really happened, right? Why taking a sugar pill will heal me, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? It's because the belief in my subconscious mind, it can be also conscious, right? For example, maybe my dad one day took a pill and it heals him, right? He had no more knee pain, or he had no more problem with his gut, no more diarrhea, whatever it is, right? So I've got a belief, my belief system, my empowering belief is that if you take a pill, it's going to work for you. So I had that belief that, oh, if I take that pill, it's going to work for me, right? And that's what healed me, right? It's the belief, specifically in your subconscious mind, that the pill will heal you. And why do I say they brush it up as a placebo effect? Because that's truly how we heal. That's how we heal. If you can go and have a program, get rid of a program that are not helping you, and download a program that are helping you, you will heal right away, right? Because you don't have to wait. You take the pill, it's a sugar pill, right? It may be as well no pill, it will do the same, if there's no pill, or if like you've got only the capsule and nothing inside, that would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
right? It's our belief that are dictating, again, our present, molding our future, but in the same time, tell us, dictating the way we react from healing, from transformation and growth.
I can vouch for this because I have seen an experiment. I have read about that. So there were two groups of people, and I'm not sure about the numbers. I don't remember that now. But there were two groups of people which were involved in the experiment. Both had same problem. Both the groups had same problems, and both were approached by a doctor. And now the doctor gave two different pills to two different groups of people. The first group got that medical prescription pill, okay, but the second group got a, as you said, sugar pill, right? It did not have any of those chemical compounds inside it which is claimed to heal that particular problem. Now after a week, once they conducted the research and they had the survey, the results were astounding. Why? Because both the groups showed equal signs of recovery, even though group 1 had the medical pill and the group 2 had the sugar pill. The sugar pill group gave or shown the same level of improvement in health, even though they have not taken any prescriptional medicines. And that just goes to show that everything in you is connected to your mind, to your brain, to your subconscious. If you're believing that this will help you, that will help you. If you're believing that you are not good enough, maybe you are not good enough. So it all boils down to that particular thought. And people often say that health, wealth, and love are all connected. And limiting belief kind of affects all these different areas and not just mindset. It kind of transforms itself to take over all parts of our life. And you also speak a lot about, aligning mind and the body. So I want to know what's the connection between the mental clarity and the physical vitality.
Well, like you say, we are, everything is connected, right? So what are your higher connection, right? So it starts with, the divine, and after it goes down to your spirit, after it goes down to your soul, and here we are more in good and bad, right? In duality, right? And after it got down to different, how can I say, electromagnetic field around you, right? Here's the problem with our current medicine. They see us only with as bone and flesh, right? But we're not, we are energy. Everything in this world is energy. Everything is vibration, right? So if there's a vibration, what's going to happen? You're going to have electrical things, right? And you're going to have electricity going through your body. We are electric, and you're going to have an electromagnetic field. We look like a torus. It's like a donut, right? And so in the technique that I created, I've got, the goal is just to recreate the donut that you want, the electromagnetic field that you want. So the first step, you electrified. I call that electrified. So what does it mean? It's basically making alignment of your thought, your emotion, your behavior, and your action. So now the flow can go this way, right? So we start to create a part of a donut, and after you need to magnetize, which is going this way, right? And so I found out how to magnetize the body. Like that, we can recreate, we can delete that field that you didn't want, or part of that frequency, and instead we put another field of you, right? So that's how everything works, right? So you have to see that in different levels, right? So that's the level of a field around you, do you think your emotion can impact your body?
I think so, yeah.
Right? Yes. Yeah, your thought can impact. If you're negative you're going to have a posture differently, right? If you are mad, like when you see a kid that is mad or got lots of anger, like this, the facial expression is going to change. And basically, now there's a proven science, right? That if you're angry in your mind, all the cell in your body is going to be angry, right? It's not going to be good for you. And that can lead to sickness and disease, mental, emotional, and physical. So it's all connected, right? And after, if we want to go to a higher dimension, right? What's happening is like this, let's pretend that the sun is like a God or the divine or awareness, whatever your belief is about, right? And after a spark of the sun, create your spirit. And this is all non-duality. It means some people will understand as it's like pure love, right? Some people will understand that it's all has been and will ever be, right? And after you've got the sky, right? And after, yes, you've got the physical you and me, right? And so the sky can be sometimes cloudy, right? We all experience that, right? And so some people, they've got so many clouds in the sky that they say there's no sun, it doesn't exist. Never felt it, never seen it, right? And so what are those clouds? They are really your limiting belief, right? And so when you start to get rid of some limiting belief, now you can start to maybe to see sometime or have a glimpse at the sun, right? You can feel the warmth of the sun once in a while, right? You say, oh, okay, there's really something there, right? And you start to get rid of, you get excited, right? So you start to get rid of more limiting belief. Yeah. And after you're more connected to your spirit. And when you're more connected to your spirit, you realize, I think that's really what they call the awakening is about, right? Mm-hmm. It's realizing that you are truly experiencing at your core that you are not only the little you, like the little me that we have been told, which is basically, flesh and bone, like the medicine now see you, right? But you are much more than that. You are a spirit living a physical experience.
According to them, they have a theory, they have a structure, they have a schedule. They try to do everything right, but nothing is working. Their life is still broken and they're still feeling miserable.
So what will I say about doing the right thing is what you have been told to do, right? Using only your conscious mind. Right? That's the problem right there. So doing the right thing for me is to identify what's causing your problem and knowing, how to fix it, right? That's doing the right thing. And so, of course, nobody's there. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody, obviously, right? I mean, it's like we go with the knowledge when we know, but that's, the right thing is not the right thing, actually, right? And so what's happening, really what they need to know is that, and understand why even though whatever energy they put in, whatever stubborn they can be to reach their goal that they want or whatever it is in life, they won't get it until they clear their subconscious mind, right? It's kind of I was thinking about that, and I would say it's kind of a mind detox, right? All the toxin that, you see what I mean, that we have been, because we detox the body, right? Detoxification, right? For people to make sure they understand me. And why not do detoxifying your mind, right? That's even more important, but nobody's talking about. So I'm going to start to talk about that. And so definitely to detoxify your mind, or all those negative are poison. It's just mind poison. That's it. Like you've got body poison, you've got mind poison, right? And we can say, oh, yes, I've got toxins in my mind, or poison in my mind, and I need to detoxify it. And to detoxify it, you need to get rid of those negative programming, that are literally controlling you. Because we like to think we're in control, right? I'm going to do this and that. No. What you are in control, actually, they did some study about that. And they had some people looking at different pictures and the way they reacted to the picture. And what we found out that actually the choice that they made between two pictures was made even before they are conscious. So it means the subconscious mind already made the choice, and after we convince ourselves, like with our reasoning, oh, I choose this because of this or that, actually not. And all the choices that they made, they were all done subconsciously first. So it's even worse or better, depending on how you see it, right? That we thought all of your, so think about it, all of your choice that you like, even little one, big one, doesn't matter, right? All the choices you're making first are made by your subconscious mind, and half a second later, your subconscious mind will justify.
I think the reason behind it is because we are living in this era of attention economy, where everything has this low attention span. We want everything fast. We always, all the time, we want a hit of dopamine, and because this is where technology has advanced so much, we have so many distractions we have to let go of, and those distractions are feeding our dopamine, right? You scroll your phone, you get dopamine. You watch a video, you get dopamine. You make fun of someone, you get dopamine. You watch a funny meme, you get dopamine. And because our every action is influenced by this hormone, dopamine, it's not difficult for people to go wayward and lose control of everything, right? So as you have mentioned earlier that the detoxification of mind is important, people, I believe, should detoxify dopamine levels. The negative dopamine should go out and positive dopamine should come in. What I mean by that is, if you are doom scrolling, probably keep that on the side and start reading a book. If you are overthinking and you feel like you need to watch a movie to calm your brain, maybe try writing a journal. And I believe you must have a lot of practices that you give to your clients to align their mind and get rid of this negative energy, this dopamine that is taking control of their lives and making them things that is not benefiting them.
Well, the dopamine it's only a part of a domino effect, right? Because if you look at the, for example, let me say that because I think it's important for our listener, right? Yeah. And so let's visualize a triangle, right? Inside the triangle, you've got limiting belief, right? So on the top of a triangle, you're going to have negative thought. On the base, on the right, you're going to have overwhelming emotion, right? On the left of the base of a triangle, you're going to have undesirable behavior, and you're going to have unproductive action, and also uninspired action, right? And so what happened, let me give you an example. If you think I've been told I'm a loser, that's my negative programming, right? So I'm a loser, I'm going to think I'm a loser, I'm going to feel like a loser, I'm going to behave like a loser. I'm going to have loser result. Who's going to happen, make me feel, right, I'm even more a loser, right? And I'm going to think, well, I thought I was a loser, but now this is like unbelievable. And so that's going to reinforce what I call that subconscious stress loop running behind the scene, right? And so that's important. So like we say, like we've got, you've got the, like the sun, remember the sun analogy, your spirit, your soul, and all that. So your mental will have to affect your body chemistry, right? And create more dopamine. So dopamine is not the cause of your problem, right? The dopamine is the consequences of it, right? And so, yeah, that's very important, right? Because if you look at your mind, the dopamine is a part of your brain. You will agree with that, right? It's a chemical in your brain, right? It comes from your brain to start with. So if you compare your mind as a computer, right? Here it is. So your brain is your hard drive. Your subconscious mind is your software. The output of your software is your conscious mind, and your behavior is reflected on the screen of life, right? And so basically, like we say, if you got good software, good quality software, you're gonna love your life, right? If you've got like a bad quality software, right? I mean, your life's gonna say, oh my goodness, it's all about suffering all the time, and I cannot catch a break and all that, right? And so, but the reaction, the chemistry of it, it's important. You always go, I'm a holistic doctor, so I can treat you physically, find out what's causing the chemical stress, and also mind. So I do all of that like that. I can zoom out and see how everything interacts with each other. What is the dominant is the mind, right? So there's a mind-body, right? That's why I never say body and body-mind connection like this. I say always mind-body connection. And of course, there's a body and mind connection. The classic one is your gut. If you've got inflammation in your gut, which means stress, fire in your gut, right? It's called the second brain. So of course, it's going to affect your brain, and you may be foggy, you may be, lots of things can happen, right? So my first book that I did is called The Brain Power Secret, was about telling people that if you want to heal your brain, don't focus only on your brain, actually focus on your gut. That's how you need to heal first, basically your second brain, right? And in order to do that, you need to have a holistic approach, meaning finding the cause and how to fix it at the physical level, at the chemical level, which is inflammation, and after mental and emotional level. And when you can put that all together, more than likely you're going to be able to help that person in a way that you even didn't dream of.
Perfect. I think it all aligns up right now. I really want to discuss more, but sadly we have approached the end of our segments. But we do every time with all of our guests is this rapid fire segment. It's the final segment in our podcast. So the theory is I'll ask you 4 questions. You need to be fast with your answers. You can't take time to think and you have to be brief. Are you ready for it?
No pressure, huh? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Shoot.
The first one belief you held for too long that you wish you dropped earlier.
Well, the belief that, I could be successful, but not for long, right? And after I had to lose everything.
Oh, nice. The second one, a daily ritual that helped you stay emotionally clear.
I do mind clearing and I meditate an hour every morning.
Lovely. The third one, what's the biggest myth people believe about success?
I think in a way it's like they think they are little, right? And so they don't deserve it, right? And so I think what is very important is to empower yourself. I understand that success is going to be the reflection of what you are and not what you do. What you are is the most important things. What you do will come after that because you'll be aligned.
Okay, the last and final one. How do you define prosperity today? Not as a concept, but in your life.
Prosperity is first balance, right? You want to be balanced you want prosperity in your health. You want prosperity in your relationship. You want prosperity and abundance. So it's a mindset, abundant mindset. When you understand that you can have access to it, right? Even though your situation seems to be like very poor, and you say, man, how I'm going to do it? You just have to trust it. And not only trusting it, you just want to make sure that you correct the cause of your problem, which is your limiting belief in your subconscious mind.
Lovely. So that's the end of our segment. Thank you so much, Dr. Alain, for being with us.
Thank you.
I can't stress upon the fact that you gave us a second chance and you appeared with us again. The limiting belief which is holding people back is something that is worthy enough to be said out loud to reach large number of people, because it's calling the cards, it's taking the shots, and we don't want to give control to something that is hampering us negatively. So yeah, I think it's a strong concept that needs to be spoken out loud, and thank you so much for being the spokesperson for that particular thing.
I really appreciate it. I knew it was a subject that was dear to you, and so that's why, I said, well, let's do it again, no problem. And yeah, and just to tell people also, if I want to put some closure in that, it's like, even if you think you have been everywhere and doing everything with no success, there's hope for you. They just didn't find what's causing your problem, or they don't know how to fix it, right? And so, trust me, if you go to the higher level of consciousness that you can have access, which is your subconscious mind, right, with a mind clearing technique or hypnotherapy if you want. The good things with mind clearing technique is so you will see the result right away. You don't have to wait. You get a treatment. I'll say, okay, how this is bothering you? 0 to 10. 10, it's really bothering you. They say 9. At the end of the session, should be 0, 1. If you come back, we'll do the resistance and all that. But you will know right away this is helping you. So if you want to try it, I've got, I can give you a discount of 20% off, right? That come if they mention your podcast and if they want to get a treatment, right? And so they go to themindclearing.com and they click on contact, and there's a form and there's my email there. And if they want to get a treatment, you just, email me, right? And if you want to learn it for yourself, to empower yourself, to be able to grow, transform and heal yourself, right? If you learn the mind clearing basic, the body clearing, which is about getting rid of pain and symptom in your body and inflammation. And if you want to learn also the goal and success clearing, we even didn't really talk about that, but to make sure that you're going to reach your goal, if you want to learn all those 3, I will give you 50% discount. If they mention your podcast.
I'm sure, 100% certain that they will get the value and they will transform their lives for the betterment.
Yeah, they will know right away. So, okay. Well, it was really a very deep pleasure of mine to have that interview again.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this episode made you aware that how powerful your mind can be. I'll leave links to Dr. Salas's socials down the description for you to go and check it out. I'll catch you in the next one, but until then, take care.